Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Poseur.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. My name is Johnboy. It is Johnboy time. I am your host, John Francis Fahey. Joining me as ever, you know him as Squirt Reynolds, Jabroni Mitchell, Francis Ford Coprophagia, Aaron Joseph Pita. How are you?
That is exactly right. That's who I am. I am doing great, my druid of gender fluid.
Oh, it's an Irish thing.
Yeah, I've been sitting on that one for about 7 to 10 days.
Oh, you've been sitting on it all right.
Yeah.
Feeling pretty good about that one.
Did you start it just as gender druid?
No, I started out as the druid of gender fluid, and I'm like, would it be better as the gender fluid druid?
But that's kind of nice.
Yeah,
that sounds like a wrestling.
The gender fluid druid.
Right.
Oh, he's got him in the gender fluid druid.
But
He's all wet now.
I like that gender fluid is a noun
Yes.
and not an adjective.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
I like that there is a fluid
Yeah.
called gender fluid.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it comes from gender, and so
Yeah.
do I.
And it's probably cum
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
or squirt
Yeah, whatever you
or
want.
whatever you want these
Yeah.
days. Anything.
All I know is my car's out of it.
The light is blinking.
Tank is empty.
It's blinking.
But the gender fluid druid is something that you could also be if you were a wrestler
Mm-hmm.
or an actual druid.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Hanging out at Bonehenge.
Oh, that's
boy.
cool.
Wink,
That's cool.
I don't just hang out there though.
Well, you let it all hang.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and in.
You cruise.
Uh-huh.
You cruise at Stonehenge, to Bonehenge.
Yeah, I'm cruising Stonehenge.
Hey, they got one of those glory hole rocks. Who's on the other side of this thing?
Irish Pete. To your right, my left, handsome Matt Poseur, the Frenchman henchman.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great.
You got a haircut. You look fantastic.
Yeah, you too, pal.
Thanks, man.
Nice.
I am wearing the second of the Dublin Delights t-shirts that my friends Joe and Jesse made for me.
862-6900.
Yeah.
Nice.
One time I was going through the phone book of local numbers with 69 in it and like prank calling all of them and accidentally dialed my own parents' restaurant.
No, you did not.
Swear to God.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it was really stupid.
So you didn't look to the left of the number at all. Where the name was.
I was just cruising through it
Just cruising.
and, Stonehenge style. And, I fucked
Mouth
up.
open. Mouth agape.
Yeah. Anyway, but this is, to give them a little plug, they made this as a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And Graveyard Shift Screen Printing is a family company. My friends do it. They do all the shirts for this show. They handle our Etsy store and all of our Patreon mail order stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I love them.
Yes.
They have a little boy, Wilson, that also works there for no money.
And what a
No money?
fine-looking boy they are raising.
He's a good boy. But yeah, I love them, and they will do custom, crazy weird shit. So give them some business. They're expanding. They had to get bigger space, so they. It's an exciting time for them. They're kind of tearing it up.
Mm-hmm.
I do also want to send a shout out to Tanner Pierce, who got in a brutal car accident. A listener of the show in Atlanta. I love you, buddy, and I'm glad you're recovering okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was a scary time. And he got really fucking banged up.
Yeah.
So,
Both he and his dad are okay.
Yes. So we love you, Tanner, and we're thinking about you, buddy. I want to get into some shit.
Dude, if you don't, I'm going to be...
Aaron, you had, of course, probably the greatest pirate in history, which was the Chinese woman.
She.
She.
Yeah, she was a she.
Yes.
But I think her name also had she.
Yeah.
And she was a hell of a woman.
Yeah. That was mega level stuff.
Yeah.
But in the Western realm, I want to talk about, it's the subject of course, the hit show Our Flag Means Death, which I just binged.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, like, oh, yeah, I heard the name immediately. And I was like, oh, this is this guy I was always thinking about doing for profiles. And, of course, they're taking, some narrative liberties with the story, which I'm real into. I binged the whole thing, and it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I've seen the first 2 episodes. It's very nice.
I thought you were saying you're into narrative liberties.
Well, I'd love.
Yeah.
Yes.
The thing is that the time they're talking about is like the turn of 1700.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a decent amount that is known, like especially when it comes to court records and stuff of that time. That's one of the things about.
Especially with who the guy was,
right?
There's a paper trail.
Yeah, but also the stuff on the high seas. Who fucking knows? And a lot of there's liberties taken, even with the book written a few years after his death. That it being Stede Bonnet, who also comes across Blackbeard, who's probably the most famous pirate of the Western world. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it was kind of blown up, and then it had kind of a resurgence in the Victorian era, like a century later, or 2 even. Is it 2? Yeah, it'd be 2. And it was kind of a thing where
1.5.
they were they kind of harkening back to when the world was less known. Yeah. Because by the Victorian era, they're like, we've pretty much seen it all.
Right.
And the foundations are pretty much laid.
Yeah.
And basically the Brits are on top. So then they're kind of going backwards in fucking fanfic.
Yeah, and they're going to remember when we were conquering the world.
Remember when, shit was kind of...
remember when we civilized everybody?
And then also... from the American perspective, when I think it was
it was like Britain's wild West, their cowboy nostalgia.
I would say so, yes. And also it fed into the pre-revolutionary American stuff because it was, bucking the powers that be, right? And that whole time is just, super, super fascinating. There is, even then, a great wealth gap, right?
Oh, sure. You start off a monarchy. There's going to be a wealth gap.
Yeah, but the thing, the pirate life was a thing where you could get into it and then feel like you were balancing the scales a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, everybody was a Robin Hood.
Yeah.
But just for themselves, pretty much.
Did you know the reason Los Angeles is the center of the city is so far inland is because of pirates?
I did not.
The Spanish had a rule about how far you had to build your town square in from land.
Yeah.
Based on piracy.
Right.
And that's
they
why.
Didn't want to be getting any
that's
kind
why
of
fucking LA sucks.
What?
Yeah, man.
No.
Yeah, dude.
No.
It's one of the reasons.
No.
We got a fake harbor.
Yeah, but then all the goods can come in that one.
We got a fake river.
No, I mean we had to make it.
We got a fake river.
Long Beach is a natural harbor. San Pedro they had to build, and it sucks. But you go to a place like San Francisco. Oh, it's all right there. Everything's nice.
Yeah, so it was also this thing too because he's Stede Bonnet. His name is Stede, Stede.
Stede.
And some people say Stede or something like that.
Come on.
The most agreed upon pronunciation is Stede. And he's born in 1688, Barbados. He's probably 3rd generation English, plantation owning, 400 acres, sugar, and
Barbados.
Jesus, he scared the fucking shit out of me.
He is white.
Yeah.
His name's Stede.
Yeah, Stede. And he is like a fucking orphan at 6. His parents die.
No shit.
Yeah.
What, consumption?
I think it was tropical depression.
The irony.
So a storm?
I don't know what it was.
They were bummed out.
Yeah.
They missed it.
There's so many pineapples. I'm like, this fucking sucks. The cum tastes so good.
All I can eat is cum now.
Oh man, I got tropical depression. I knew you'd be so mad at that joke. I knew you'd be mad at it. I was thinking about it on the drive home from work. I was like, I'm going to say this and really piss him off.
You got me down, man. You know what's up.
I know it bums you out.
A lot.
Stonehenge.
No, that's what gets out my bum.
But so yeah, he had basically like people are just like taking care of the estate until he like came of age. He because he was a child, and he was like a bookish nerd, and he grew up extremely wealthy, and then he claims his estate. And he is, like I think a magistrate or something in the court, but also like part of the Barbados militia. And the idea there is it's just basically like, do you have money and want to keep it and stop slave revolts?
Yeah.
Then you're a fucking general in the army.
Yeah.
You're a fucking magistrate in the courts. Like, this is our shit.
Yes.
We're going to keep it.
It sounds like a modern day infomercial.
But you know what I'm saying?
Do you have money?
Yeah.
Would you like to keep it?
Yeah. But
learn how to use a gun and a pen.
Yeah, but the general, like, he didn't fucking see any combat or anything. Like, it was all just, you have a vested interest in holding on to this
Join
shit.
the city council.
Like the rest of us. So, like, you're a part of it, whether you want to be or not.
This isn't LA. If you join the city council, you can get stuff done there. Hey, all right.
But I mean, also, like, just for some background at that time, too, there's, some shifting from the Jacobites at the crown, right, to what would be the German royal family, foreign-born king. And it's thought that maybe he was not down with that he came from a more Jacobite family. Who fucking knows? And like there's you do have like the Spanish and the French and everybody's involved, and so what was going to become the golden age of piracy. Piracy is only really if you're doing it for yourself,
right. If you're doing it for another nation,
mercenary.
Yes, but even then it was almost like the kind of
or
thing,
a state-sanctioned explorer,
or privateering, and privateering was the kind of thing like. Well, who did you steal from? And you're like, the Spanish. And you're like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can have some.
Yeah. It's that kind of thing. Like, basically, like, as long as you're out there fucking them up and we're in competition with them, then it's all good.
Yeah.
Or the French or, like, whatever. But, the minute you fucking turn against the crown, like, that sort of shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, you can't steal from home.
Right.
Because this is the era of this is kind of where those two empires are kind of like their lines are crossing.
Yeah.
One kind of falling on the wayside, or at least going west.
Right. And then the French still in the mix there too. The French.
It was a good time. A lot of things. I mean, it was a good time to be European, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the grapes. I mean,
just a lot of mixing it up going on.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of dying.
Well,
a lot of disease, a lot of cannonballs through the thigh or what have you.
Oh, man. So,
I mean, some guys could eat them.
One of the coolest things about doing this dive on here is like when you find out about some of the stuff that like they would do in this very primitive warfare, right? And even the idea that guys are on their own. And on this sea, just being on the sea is very hard. Okay?
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, and then
you're in the ocean with no motor.
Right, and then
motor,
and then add in the idea that
money.
You will come up against a warship and actually engage them, and they have like ample supplies of everything working for the crown of whichever kingdom they come from, and these guys are holding their own. And one of the ways they're doing it is with, first of all, stealing shit when they win.
Right.
Sure.
But hey, now we got this cool RMS, cannon from an English battleship.
Right. But even, when it comes to, say, for instance, fixing the ship, doing the things like careening. And that would be basically like deliberately grounding and then getting it on one side and then fixing that
Patching
side
it up.
because you don't have a fucking dock to go to,
No.
man. Like you're fucking public enemy number one.
Right.
Beach it.
And then beach it, do it, flip it, and then do the other thing. And like, and in the war stuff, they would do things like hollow out a cannonball and then insert like a fuse with like gunpowder. So they had like primitive grenades
Yeah. Well,
that
imagine,
they were lobbing with their fucking hands.
the nature of the lifestyle leads to innovation.
Well,
in
exactly.
a completely different way.
You got to improvise, adapt, and overcome.
All right.
Yeah.
When you're out at sea, you got your scurvy. There's only guys.
Well,
Okay.
sometimes that's cool though.
You got to figure out ways to.
That's
fucking
so that's the thing too. I mean, so just to kind of lay the groundwork here of a lot of the stuff.
1, no vitamin C. 2, only guys.
Well, I mean, no, don't forget there was like that Irish Bonnie girl. She was a big pirate at the time.
99% guys.
Yeah, for sure, without a doubt.
No, if I may ask one
Please.
more. Now, did they have? They must have had smaller ships than the crown owned.
Oh
Right.
Yeah.
But then
So a little more nimble. It probably helps them in their fighting. It's
Harder target to hit.
Yeah.
yeah, but
That's
also
about it.
there's a thing there too where, I mean, if you catch somebody slipping now and then they've got a big old so for instance, Blackbeard's Queen Anne's Revenge, that was a slave ship.
Mhm.
It had like 200 slaves on it. And then Blackbeard gets it, and it's a big old fucker because it holds 200 people plus crew.
Well,
And then he
it's small spaces.
And then he kits it out with fucking cannons.
right.
And now you're the fucking big dog.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, Blackbeard had shit like where his the Jolly Roger flag.
Mhm.
You're familiar?
I am. It's the skull and crossbones.
Yes, that was way too weak for Blackbeard. Blackbeard's was a full skeleton stabbing a bleeding heart.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. Probably not as easy to read from nautical miles away.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You get the
They've
picture.
got one of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a telescope. Yeah.
I think it's called something else.
An eyepiece.
No, it's a telescope. Man.
Binocs. I think also maybe there was counterintuitive sort of propaganda where it would be the kind of thing of like, oh, fucking Blackbeard, whatever. And so then people would just kind of surrender as soon as they saw the flash.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
His reputation preceded.
And then some would even just be like, "But don't even board us. Like we're joining the flotilla.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like
we're in.
We've been waiting for you.
Yeah.
Like with Genghis Khan coming in, it's like, well, okay, you join us or we destroy you. And it's like, okay, well.
But in the case of, say for instance, when he takes over the Queen Anne's Revenge, the 200 slaves on board are fucking delighted.
Yeah.
They're like, oh shit, like now I'm like I can be a go-getter. And like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't got to do it.
Hey, Blackbeard, black skin. Hey, we're bros.
I don't got to go get shit for
I do
some
enjoy.
guy.
I do enjoy working.
I can, yeah.
but not for free.
Yeah, now I'll get probably more than some
hardtack.
Yeah.
some fucking landlubber.
Yeah.
And-
You'll not be sleeping 45 to a square meter.
But that's the thing too, is that sometimes it would be a thing of, okay, now I've got all these people, right? And pirates, except it's Stede Bonnet, they have a thing of sharing the booty,
Yes.
right? And that's what keeps everybody's, lips fucking wet and like,
You
"Ooh,
gotta earn your keep.
let's go get it. And also, you're gonna fight. Let's go get it, right? And
if we don't go get it, there's nothing to share.
Yeah.
yes, and I mean that goes, not just from the bonus, like the silver, which would be, the Spanish would be really pulling out, and you really want to grab that. But then it was just like, there was instances in, when this all went down where you're running out of oranges, right?
Yeah.
And then the scurvy is a problem.
Yeah.
And then it's even worse than food. If you run out of rum,
Yeah.
now we really might have a mutiny.
Yeah.
Like that's the worst thing that can happen is
Yeah.
to get a pirate sober.
Yeah. They fight when they're drunk, but they they do mutiny when they're
sober. Yeah.
All hungover and angry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you know? I've always wondered this, and just been too lazy to look it up. On super long voyages, were they bringing their own water, or did they have stills to just you can with very, very rudimentary supplies, you can just distill water with sunlight.
Yes.
I don't know if it's enough for a crew of men.
Right.
But it almost certainly isn't. But what were they doing for month-long, et cetera, journeys? What were they doing to hydrate?
I don't hear anything about water in all.
Just rum.
Well, yeah. I mean, and
they could have just been drinking rum.
And it probably was trusted more.
But that only goes so far.
I agree, but my guess is that they had so many barrels.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was just a lot of drinking going on.
And, also they could drink their own piss.
That goes so far as well.
Really, they would.
I can tell that to plasma.
And these are guys going like, I'm not going to live long anyway.
Right.
They're not worried about their fucking cholesterol. You know what I mean? Like they're illiterate. They
syphilitic.
Yes, quite syphilitic.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know what they were doing about that?
Mercury.
Yeah, shooting it up their fucking urethra in a syringe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's hot.
Yeah, mercury. Or sometimes. I remember reading something about
and that made them bifurious. Yeah. Big old ball bag full of mercury.
Oh God.
Why? You love it. Come on.
Catching malaria.
Yeah.
The fever that malaria would give you would burn out the syphilis. I believe. I don't think I have it reversed. It might be reversed, but I remember reading something about.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. The infection, or
one infection would burn out the other.
Right.
I don't know which one.
I would guess malaria.
Yeah, malaria is not good. Syphilis you can live with for a while.
Oh, but it'll fuck your head up and stuff eventually. So that's
yeah.
also where some of the crazy is coming from, right?
Yeah. But yeah, the mercury. Science, man. We're doing mercury.
So I say,
Up there, could you imagine how cool it looked like when you cummed out a T-1000?
I know. Yeah.
Splack. Oh my God.
Have you seen this boy?
Have you seen this boy?
Have you seen?
Get a load of this. They would say things like in the pirate community, so that there would be like if there's areas where there's like a lot of dock workers, pirates will kind of linger, but they can't really, in the Caribbean they had a place known as the Republic of Pirates where they kind of had a little bit of hey, here's where we hang kind of thing.
The Isle of Tortuga.
Yeah.
I don't if I'm not mistaken.
But
the surf.
they really can't fuck around too much in regular places because it's frowned upon piracy.
Right, and and a lot
punishable by death.
And these places are there's everybody talks. It's small places, and everybody kind of recognizes everybody. And if you show up looking like you do, I guess people can kind of put two and two together, even though they don't know math. They can metaphorically put two and two together.
Right.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And so like there's what they called social homosexuality. And the idea being like there's a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And we gotta
bust these nuts.
We gotta blow off steam.
I didn't shoot fucking mercury up my dick for nothing.
But also, there's the idea of do you choose to be gay because you're a pirate, or do you choose to be a pirate because you're gay, right?
Right.
Which is kind of the idea.
Don't ask, don't tell.
The kind of the idea that, and also there's the idea too, or if there's any underground society and you're already gay, it's going to be that much more attractive.
Yeah.
Because you're already like, well, they already want to fucking kill me anyway. So.
Yeah, right.
I might as well be able to fight back with a group of men.
Yeah.
And also,
drunk. And also that probably like if you're at the fucking Republic of Pirates and everybody is a gnarlesome individual.
And tanned.
They've probably kind of seen all types of weirdos, so they'll be like, "Oh, they're doing the gay thing," you know?
Yeah,
what
I mean, most of them are cast outs, whether by choice or
Right.
by profession or.
And you know, there's maritime law. There's the rule. You know, there's the. It's like, what was it in Sopranos? There's no women in there.
Yeah. Well, you get a pass for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And it's not like you know, there are the dandies of high society.
Yes.
There are dandies, and there's the effeminate men that who are looked down upon. But you know, one would imagine that is either covered up or played up on the seas. Like, oh, you are just like in jail. Oh, you are the woman, right? So everybody's got a role to play.
Yeah. Well, not only that. So there's a thing there too where. The British are reading about the pirates and them enjoying it, and they enjoy the Robin Hood type thing, right? Pre-revolutionary America, they enjoyed it even more because they were like, "Yeah,
We fancy ourselves.
There's some fuck the British stuff brewing," and Stede Bonnet was a dandy. He was bookish. He came from obscene wealth.
And in Barbados.
And then he was, you know, there was a marriage.
There was a marriage.
Yeah, there was a man. There was a man. It was a
and
marriage.
she was also from a plantation family with tons of money, right? 3 children, all boys, and the youngest, I believe, dies. And then it's like, is that cause for Stede to be like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna become a fucking pirate? I don't know, you know. And some people are like, the quote often attributed is a discomfort with marriage, and that was sort of speak for almost like she's this shrewish nag or something. Or yes,
he wanted to just hang out with a bunch of tan dudes.
I want to be where the boys are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hanging out with my boys.
Yeah. And so, you know, he also borrowed some money, so he could have had a bad sugar crop, and maybe the walls were closing in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because he kind of left with a lot of money.
You know where there's no walls? The ocean.
The high seas.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's doing this thing where in secret he is building his ship, the Revenge.
What a great name.
And like, this is the thing where like,
For what?
against what?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, revenge for what?
Yeah, the revenge.
The institution of marriage and heteronormativity.
Yeah.
The Revenge is the hottest gay club.
Yeah.
This club has everything.
Yeah.
Pirates.
Water.
End of list.
It's like Jeff Bezos having revenge. You're like,
Yeah.
for like,
Stop
against
it.
what?
Yeah.
Space?
Gravity?
Like,
Rules?
Didn't you win everything? It's like the return, the vengeance of Bezos. You know. But so yeah, he's getting it kitted out with 12 cannons, and
Huge amount of cannons.
he fucking leaves like in the middle of the night, and he's now got like he's been on a boat once,
Yeah.
one time.
Yeah.
As a passenger.
And loved it.
As a passenger. But he goes down to the port and he's got, there's some pirates hanging around.
Hey.
And he goes,
Hey, boy.
he's like, listen, we're going to start doing pirate shit.
They're like, that's what I know.
And they're like, what?
Did you say a pirate ship?
Yeah.
Not until you.
Yes, but I said.
Yeah. And so they're like, okay. And then he's like, he doesn't get, he didn't have to do it. These guys all had to do it.
Right. And he chooses.
He chooses to do it.
Right.
And so, pirate ships are like stolen and then refitted, and like he's got a brand.
I'm
new
gonna build one from scratch.
He's like, I got a brand new one meant to be a pirate ship. You know.
Yeah.
I hope he got like either
an army of one. You know.
I hope he was like, "What do you guys like in pirate ships?"
Yeah, and
Women.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, one of the things they probably wouldn't have asked for was his private chambers, which were extremely luxurious, including a full library.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
He had a full library.
Many leather-bound books.
Yes.
Oh, that's lovely.
On the ocean.
With a bunch of illiterates.
Yeah.
Well, I'm guessing, it's like we can't mutiny because someone has to read us to bed every day.
And so and then he pays them a weekly wage.
As
So-
you should.
Nobody else has ever done that.
as you should. Not saying it's not normally done.
Right, but,
Yeah, but
you don't
don't want to go steal, and because you might get hurt.
Yeah.
And
You're comfortable.
No,
Nice
they're
and
just
comfortable.
doing it for the pride now.
Yeah, the love of the game.
He's doing it for the pride. He's like, we're pirates, man. Can you believe it? And then like the only ships they ever take are like these like harmless things that are clearly not going to have any gold or silver because there's no guns on them.
He's cosplaying piracy.
Yeah, they're out for a jaunt.
Yeah, but they're like, they're like, okay, the wage is nice, but also like this is embarrassing because we're not real pirates.
Yeah.
Like when we go to the Republic of Pirates and we port or whatever, and we go in and they be like, oh, what did you steal? Who'd you take? Who'd you kill? And they're like, we found some guys that like had some food and then we gave them money for it.
Yeah, we found a fishing boat and yeah.
Seriously, like it's that level.
For me, that sounds like a great time.
They do take some ships, kind of off like the Virginia coast and stuff. But it's really because he's like cool, being like, "Oh, you guys have done this before. Go do whatever you do." I don't know. And so,
Go boys,
Go pirate.
yeah, they take like 4 ships, whatever. But yeah, there is a thing where they aren't hungry, so they're not hungry.
Yeah, they're like, well, I got the base salary.
Yeah.
I don't know if I need the bonus.
It's just some comfortable pirating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your day job? Well, I'm a pirate.
It's a leisurely pirating.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was just kind of fucking phoning it in, and then I think a huge turning point was a Spanish man of war.
Not a Portuguese man of war, which is a sea creature.
Whoa, and not the horse man of war.
That's right.
And he
A Spanish man of war is a
warship.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think they come upon it, and if they might have been like, oh, let's take that, and then they realize what it was, and then the ship starts decimating them.
Ooh.
And the Revenge is getting fucked, and it takes out and injures at least half the men, including Bonnet himself, who is like fucked up. Like actually fucking stabbed and shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, so they boarded
boarded?
them.
Yeah, I think they did. And
That's so cool.
I mean, the scene of being boarded is a slow motion.
Yes, exactly. It's like, oh, here they come. We've got an hour.
Yeah. It's
They come, catching the wind.
It's the
to
tractor
come-
beam.
Yeah, it's the the Austin Powers like backing up out of the hallway thing, where it's like,
There's this-
wow, I'm in like 30 minutes, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Or the steamroller.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
Just backing.
Ah! Ah!
Just the slow mo impending doom.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I don't know, fucking say your prayers or something. And then they just swing ondy your ship.
Yeah,
ropes
meanwhile,
and
like
stuff.
you're waiting, you're theoretically ready for him. It's not a
talking
surprise.
talking shit across the ocean.
yeah, exactly.
Nobody speaks the same language.
You can
And
know.
they're shooting but I imagine they were shooting some cannonballs, which will fuck you up.
Yeah, that's true.
yes, for sure. So they went down to I believe it was what they were calling the Republic of Pirates in the Caribbean, and
Do you know where that was? I mean, don't say Caribbean.
Caribbean.
No. I mean, if I say like no, you pronounce it however you like.
Uh-huh.
What I'm saying is, do you know where in the Caribbean that was?
No, but I've also heard that he met him in Honduras.
Oh,
So it's it's kind of up for debate. where he meets Blackbeard.
Mm.
But it's definitely it's after he's real fucked up from the Spanish ship.
You gotta send lawyers, guns, and money when you're in Honduras.
The Republic of Pirates was in the Bahamas, in Nassau or New Providence.
That's right, Nassau. It was.
So that's
Nassau.
Jamaica.
Yes.
Basically.
And Blackbeard is from Bristol. Right.
Oh.
So they have this kind of thing, and Blackbeard came up from ship hand, and all the way to captaining his own thing.
Oh, okay, he worked his way up.
He did to becoming fucking Blackbeard,
and then he knew how to do every job on the boat.
Yeah, he used to be just Black 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah,
and he
black goatee.
He was already a legend when Bonnet meets him. So this is the kind of thing where Bonnet is meeting. The cosplay has now become almost too real.
Yeah.
And it's a little scary, but when he's fucking around with this Republic of Pirates, and I think Blackbeard's one of the people who took to this too, there was almost kind of this, novelty, and also a thing of, since a lot of pirates were doing this Jacobite rebellion, it was this idea that even a dandy would throw away his fortune to go
spite
to go into this life of piracy and this idea of he has something to lose and has chosen to,
right?
Which is
and so in Blackbeard's eyes, it might have given Stede some street cred or sea cred.
It definitely at least is
even though it wasn't the intent.
It's definitely we're getting a kick out of this.
Right.
Yeah.
Check out this motherfucker.
And also, what's going on here?
Right.
And then I think it serves as this thing. This is my analysis of it, which I haven't heard other people say. Mm-hmm. But I think that there was an idea among these people that we don't live very long. We don't know what the right side to be on is. We don't know who's going to win. We know that we stand the most to lose and are the most outgunned and outnumbered. Mm-hmm. So maybe if we have a bridge to the civilized world through this guy, it's not a bad card to have in our back pocket. And maybe that's why Blackbeard and even just the rest of the pirate community are they could have eaten this guy alive.
Right.
Once he shows up in their den.
Right.
You know what I mean? They'd be like, oh, he's not going to fucking do anything. Mm-hmm. And then they were kind of like, all right, well, if he's got shit to lose, his crew, doesn't respect him.
Right.
But also, some of them are like, oh, he's nice.
Right.
He pays us a wage.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, I mean, it's not like he's going to out-pirate any of them.
He's not a true threat.
Yeah, to any of the hierarchy.
He's kind of a mascot.
Pirates, yeah, So
yes.
It's kind of harmless for them.
Yes, at the very least, he's some form of a human shield.
Yeah.
He's Rudy.
he's Rudy.
Rudy?
Yeah.
The guy on the bench?
Yeah. Well, he's not going to take any of our spots, but hey, it's Rudy. Hey, check it out, Rudy. Go for it.
Lovable loser.
That's not a good metaphor.
No.
I like it.
Yeah. Real
It's not good at all.
Yeah.
But I like
Rudy, get it on Blu-ray.
Hey.
I've never watched it.
Sean, what?
Really?
Yeah.
You've never seen Rudy?
No.
The fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, I didn't need to be inspired.
It's that Mr. Frodo guy.
Yeah.
Samwise Gamgee.
Yeah.
He was also Goonies. It's Goonie Tang.
Yeah, that's right.
It's Goonie Tang. It's a good movie. There's John Favreau's in it.
Forgot that completely.
And his friend.
Uh-huh.
So they meet up and he's delighted and Blackbeard is maybe seeing an opportunity. And the crew is like, yo, Blackbeard, fucking man, this is, really cool to meet you and stuff. This guy's a fucking idiot. Yeah. And so he's like, oh. And then he's basically okay, Stede, you come on board the Queen Anne's Revenge, and I'm going to have my first mate board the Revenge, right? And he's like, just take it easy, chill out, right? And leave the pirating to the professionals, right? And at first I think it's cool and all that, and then after a while he's fucking bummed and he's realizing a fucking joke,
Stede realizes he's a joke.
Yeah. And
there's no books on here. Shit.
And so there was a thing where they were like, there was an idea, a thing that was like, the king announced basically like, if you're a pirate and you've done things up to this point, it will be forgiven and you'll be given a pardon,
Right.
as long as you pirate on the right side of the crown.
It's called Jimmy Carter.
Huh?
Jimmy Carter did some stuff with, like, I think Draft Dodgers or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Where he's like, up to this point,
Right.
well, it's cool, man.
Yeah.
Just be cool.
But and there was a date on this too. It was like, have you done anything until like this point? And him and Bonnet and Blackbeard had totally raided well after this date. But they were like, fuck.
I found these coins.
Like, we didn't hear, we don't have phones, And
That's what they said.
and they were like going like New York, North Carolina, like South Carolina, like they were fucking like doing some major raid. Like they had a fucking run. And like I was saying, like this is like when, Blackbeard gets like the flotilla and there's ships just they see the flag, they surrender. And the thing too is like a lot of the legends about Blackbeard are this notorious cruelty and awful stuff, and there's not necessarily a lot of stuff supporting it.
Right. If you're really good, you only you have
The warning shot and the flag should be enough
right
to just surrender.
Yeah, a little
and then
targeted violence
right
goes a long way.
Yeah,
and then it all the reputation does the work.
Yes, and also, and this is the thing too is Bonnet is laughable because he's still got all the fancy clothes.
Mm-hmm.
There will be battles sometimes where they said he'd be seen like just kind of like befuddled wandering around in his pajamas. Because
he made a tourniquet out of a silk scarf
because he was just like really bummed out, and he was telling people on board, he's like, this pirate thing, what the fuck is I thinking?
All this fighting, and for what?
And he was like, and he was also, he became known as the gentleman pirate because he was so kind, because he was
gentlemanly.
Like, he didn't know how to fucking like kill and all that shit, or so he was kind to his hostages, and that again, not gonna thrill the crew that are used to all this savage throat slitting and stuff. But then Blackbeard's in charge, and they're getting that sort of thing done, and they're getting some money, and there's this opportunity for a pardon for these guys
from the crown.
Yes, and so Blackbeard is like, all right, well, Stede, go check it out.
Go check out the pardon.
The pardon, like in North Carolina,
Right.
And basically, like, I'll watch the ships.
Makes sense.
Right. And so Stede goes and he gets his pardon, and it's basically like you will only kind of pirate for the crown.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes back, and the Revenge has been stripped, and
only the books are left.
Blackbeard has totally fucked him over.
Oh, no, you can't trust Blackbeard?
Yeah. And
probably doesn't even have a beard.
He takes a bunch of the crew,
I imagine,
and he maroons them on an island with no food and water.
Oh,
and
so he takes some of the crew and maroons them, takes the other crew, and
well, the thing is that like,
and has another boat, takes another boat somewhere.
Like I said, a bunch of guys and a bunch of boats. Now that's something.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just got too many guys, it's too many shares.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So if these are Stede's guys that were kind of half-hearted pirates anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? These 200 slaves are going to work a lot harder than those guys. You know what I mean?
No.
They don't have a choice.
They're not getting a weekly wage. They're working off booty.
Yeah.
And Stede's guys were like, they were half-hearted because they had a weekly wage always coming.
Mm-hmm.
And so he fucks them off on an island. And let's take a little break there, and we'll come back.
Okay. Oh, before we leave, Aaron. Every time the pirates stopped, they at a port, they would fill up on water. And
barrels.
They would also,
Jugs.
casks.
Yeah, hydro
And they would
flasks.
also sometimes build water catchers for when
from rain.
Yes.
Oh,
Thank you.
That makes sense.
Yeah. You're out there on the open seas.
Right.
Yeah, and so if they did, I was really just thinking, like, I guess I was thinking more like transatlantic voyages, those long, like 3-month or month and a half long journeys.
They have rain too, man.
But no, they would plan for that. There was a certain maximum they could
carry
put
with
on,
them, yeah.
and they knew the amount they would need to do the
they'd ration it out.
the triangular.
Plus, they drink their piss probably.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
But thank you for that.
Yeah. All right, we'll be right back, folks. And we're back. Why are you flaring your nostrils and doing it? Don't look at the camera.
Whoa,
Nice.
you can do. Oh wow, a lot of good eye work.
Oh, I like that one gremlin that does that.
I think I could do that.
You got to do the laugh with it.
You can do it.
Oh,
Dude,
wow.
that's pretty fucking
Wow.
good.
Is that good?
Yeah.
That's pretty
I have good ocular control.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You work on that? Or are you born with?
Nah, I feel like I could just do it, man.
Oh.
Any Spaniard can do that.
We're all technically gremlins. Todos somos gremlinos.
I forgot to mention. So during this fun run with Blackbeard, before he dupes him, and they had this like blockade around Charlestown.
Charlestown, Boston, Massachusetts, or
no.
Charleston, South Carolina?
Charleston. It becomes Charleston. It's Charlestown at the time.
Got it.
And they were basically controlling like anything going in and out of the city.
Or they blockaded the W's.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, no W's allowed, bro.
Mhm.
You guys have to take the L.
Now we're just Charleston, I guess. But that was super successful and also just, kind of a major flex, right? And it's really funny because they're doing that down there, and then over here, both
Over here, where?
North Carolina, where he sends Stede to go negotiate with the governor for clemency, and that's how different the states were then, where it's like you could fuck this guy over all day long, and then I'll give you a pardon, and like it was every fucking man for himself. You know what I mean? And that's also kind of the nature of the thing too. Of the time is like it's just so fucking scattered and
we do things a little bit differently here in North Carolina.
Right, but even state to state, nation to nation, boat to boat, like
That's why you're on the high seas, man.
you might as well flip allegiances all the time.
Turn your flag upside down. It's the other country.
And so that's kind of what would happen. And I think Stede was so infuriated by what happened to the Revenge and to his crew, and he got it back, but now he's got a pardon, right?
Oh man!
So you're kind of like, fuck! I just got away with all this shit, and now I have a king's pardon,
right?
But also, man, fuck Blackbeard, right?
So I mean, it sounds like it's the perfect. It's the turning point in the Stede story, where finally he
needs the revenge.
Yes.
And he needs the pardon. Is this pardon proactive? Will it work for any future dalliances?
Right. You get at least one after.
I didn't really need the pardon the first time. Yeah. I just robbed
no, he did. He did. He robbed vessels of the crown.
Okay.
And also, so when he first started out, one thing he would do is you would rob all these crown vessels, right, that were stateside. If there was a boat from Barbados, sank it. Because, you don't want word getting back, hey, fucking Stede Bonnet's out here fucking on the high seas being a pirate.
Wait, Stede Bonnet? The guy with the...
But, I don't know, I feel like that, maybe I'm missing it. I would want everybody to know.
Yeah,
He wasn't that kind of pirate.
It was also a thing.
Oh, because he was supposed he left because he had the debts and the wife and the two kids who were still.
We don't know if the debts are a certainty, but he did take out a loan, which in today's money would have been like $400,000.
Right. So
that might have been just like,
I don't want anybody to know that I'm out here. I'm supposed to be dead.
Or maybe he doesn't want people from Barbados to think, he's stealing from Barbados.
I mean, he came up there.
No, he's just sinking them.
But he came up.
He's just thinking.
He didn't want anybody on those Barbados ships to be like, hey, Stede's gay.
Hey,
and he's got a wife and kids and debt.
Did I go to high school with you?
No.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Stede, how's that dead boy of yours? Yeah, I think it was a bunch of just, I don't want to getting back to Mary, the wife, who's the supposed nag.
Oh, he's just been
or whatever.
He's been on a 5-year vacation. Must be having a nice
and
time.
he's probably thinking like, I want them to, Also, it's a pseudonym thing. Like Edward Teach is Blackbeard, right? And by the way, Blackbeard, it was a thing where they said in talking about the appearance of the two men, they said Bonnet was a stout, dressed fancy. Blackbeard looked wild with a large black beard.
And then he twisted like
fuses into his beard.
Yeah.
And some say his hair.
Yeah.
But
beard is hair.
Yeah, but I mean, like his mane.
I feel like it all blends into one thing.
But he would do that
like
while attacking a ship. He would light flames. So when people talk about
he
him,
looked insane.
completely insane.
Yeah.
And you're like, I mean, if the flag didn't do it, the man with the flaming face might.
It's a form of myth making.
Yes.
It's like in Batman Begins, when Batman's like, "Taste your own medicine, doctor," and he gasses the Scarecrow with his own fear toxin, and then he's the Bat Demon.
Yeah.
Where's Russell Crowe is dead? You know that thing?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Thank you for making it relatable.
Kind of like this thing I like.
It's kind of like that. Well, they kind of do that in the show.
Yes. Yeah.
They do show Blackbeard.
Oh yeah, yeah, with the smoking head.
Yeah, and he's just like a wraith kind of. So
yeah,
it's kind of like that.
But also, it's a thing too where it shows like because there isn't all this evidence of necessarily like cruelty, and this thing like it might have been like also Blackbeard had a penchant for pageantry.
Certainly,
and it was just a different type, and it was all one to make you be like, I mean, he was certainly crafty.
He wasn't the only guy with a black beard.
Yeah. But he got this reputation, and it was a thing where, maybe it was like, oh, we gotta stop something to, get these scoundrels. But then when you're like on the fucking season, it's just you and him, and you're going like, oh well, we can't even stop this guy. So then it adds to the legend.
Right.
Then he throws in some bells and whistles in the form of fuses in his fucking beard.
Yeah, man, theatricality and deception.
And you're going like, oh, let's just not let's just fucking get him to make us one of those flags with the heart and the skeleton, and let's fucking raise it up, and we'll just go with him.
Yeah, what kind of men are these?
I don't even like these guys. They're super weird.
It's like,
I'm with you, man.
The Ghost Rider's attacking you now.
Yeah, I mean, if everybody's ready to mutiny on their captain over no rum, these guys
they'll join you for a hot meal and a cot.
Yeah, and fucking it's fuck everybody else out there. So and that means whether you're with a government or not,
right?
It's fuck everybody.
Yeah.
And so Bonnet is so ill suited to it that when he goes through his depressing thing, and he's telling them like, I just want to go to Portugal, I want to go to Spain, I want to go so far away, because he's like, I don't want any Englishman to know kind of like my shame of like what happened here. And so now he comes out and he's basically announced his shame. That Stede Bonnet, the landholder of Barbados, somebody from the crown can go back to Barbados now, no matter how many ships you sank, and be like, hey, this fucking asshole, this rich boy.
The Band-Aid's been ripped off.
Yes. And so that changes something in him, like you guys said. Like now he had something to avenge, basically.
Yeah.
And so the revenge sets sail again, and he gets the fucking guys marooned on the island.
Now they're like slaves. Now they've got something to prove.
No. Now they're like, you're actually a badass. We never respected you. and you saved us from certain death.
Yeah.
And he,
Well,
and,
that's what I'm getting at. Is now they've got something to fight for.
oh, and they love him.
Yeah.
And he also is like, getting like, don't do what I say, and you get fucking pistol whipped suddenly.
Yeah.
And like you're like, and people are like, what the fuck? And now, at the same time, Blackbeard is negotiating with the North Carolina governor, and like he's trying to get this like pardon,
the pardon
the pardon thing going, but Stede Bonnet is like, let's go get Blackbeard, the most feared pirate on the seas.
I met him. He's not that crazy.
And the crew is like, yeah, he left us for dead. Let's fucking go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Plus, we've got this kick-ass ship, which is now more like a pirate ship than ever because it's been stripped, and we've got to kind of hodgepodge it back together.
And at first, he renames it the Royal James.
He renames it. I mean, now it has has a purpose that is renamed.
But at first, it's like
the Queen Anne's Revenge.
You got to look like you're and I think he changes his name to like Captain Thomas or something.
He's a real dread.
It should be Captain Motherfuckers.
yeah, Captain.
Yeah, like Captain Crunch.
Like Captain Crunch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You and the Captain make it happen.
Yeah, make it happen.
Oops, all berries. Berries.
But so yeah, at first he has that thing where he's like, "All right, play by the rules, go back to it, rename the fucking ship the Royal James," which shows also like the fucking let
the revenge be our actions.
You are but also like he's like I gotta play ball now. I got away with all this shit, and a lot of it is because also. The stories filter back, and then they're like, he has like a rep a little bit, even though he's supposed to be this embarrassing pirate.
Mm-hmm.
But the public, like the pirates in the Republic of Pirates, like they're all kind of like fascinated, like what the fuck is this guy's deal? And like I said, in America especially, they saw them as Robin Hood types, the wealth gap, and people with enough balls to go take shit, the same way gangsters are celebrated,
and we love a comeback story.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes after Blackbeard. They will never see each other again.
It's hard to find people at sea.
But then he also fucking just starts raiding mad ships and crown ships, and he's fucking like, if guys are not fighting on the ship, he'll put a gun to their head. Like he's fucking going hardcore. Like suddenly, Blackbeard saw him and was like, how do I become gentlemanly? And he saw Blackbeard and he's like, how do I become a scumbag?
Wow. And
he goes for it because he's like, this can't be my legacy, basically. And they're it's like The Departed. Blackbeard will end up getting executed in I think it's fucking 1718. But Bonnet is he goes on this huge raid, and like people are like, man, you're not fucking Captain Thomas, that's fucking Stede Bonnet. Like we know the deal. And he goes up the Cape Fear River to wait out hurricane season.
Mm-hmm.
And word gets out.
That's Virginia?
That would be the Carolinas. And word gets out with, I believe this is the South Carolina governor who has mad beef with these guys.
Because of the blockade.
Right. And he's like...
Mad beef is different than mad cow disease, by the way.
And he sends Captain Rhett, a British, guy to be like, hey, there's pirates up in the river there.
Pirates in these rivers.
And
they're in a boat.
and they've got two warships that sail up the river, and they end up they see Stede's boat. This is not the Royal James. It sees one of them and thinks it's kind of it doesn't know it's a warship, and he thinks it's like ripe for the plucking, and he sends out a couple of canoes to go towards it. Right?
Excuse me, sir.
And these guys at the last minute see that like there's cannon, like, oh fuck, let's get the fuck out of here. Rhett fucks his boat up, like he fucks his position up in a way where he can't even fire on the canoes.
So he kind of gets stuck somewhere in the river, maybe.
Yeah, he fucks up his own thing, but then these guys are like rowing back to the Revenge, which is another role of James, and you know, then what begins to ensue is the Battle of Cape Fear, and what happens there is like the most farcical fucking nonsense ever. The two British ships and the Royal James all run aground.
Oh, fantastic!
Every ship in the battle.
Oh, they're in a river.
And then they have to get on land behind their own ships with small arms fire.
Yeah.
And some
the most accurate guns.
Some
available.
of the decks, you know, are like leaned over in the way when they crash into land that like everybody's exposed in the Brits. Yeah. And so the pirates are just firing on them. And it's pathetic. It goes on for hours.
Just the lamest pirate fight.
Yeah, their guns were like cannons and cannonballs, except smaller and less accurate.
And took longer to load.
It took longer to load.
And so it was at this point, I think, that he had gone so far and knew that he had basically fucked up his pardon so bad. Basically, in a way, everybody knew. Mm-hmm. That he was kind of like fight to the last man kind of style. Mm-hmm. And the tide rises, the British ships get afloat again, they flank them, and like it's just surrender. Mm-hmm. Right? And
no one expects the tide to rise. You can't plan for that.
So he goes to jail and he's like, he's really liked by the public.
Right.
Like they've now like
the gentlemanly pirate.
Yeah, and also like, you know, he didn't have to, but he did.
Right.
Like it's very curious.
Yeah.
And the public really likes him. Mm-hmm. So his trial or like keeps getting delayed because he's kind of like a popular figure, you know? And he's like, you know, he's torn up a pardon, right? Already with his actions. And he writes to them again. He goes like, listen, he's like, just let me live. And he goes, I will never pirate again. And he goes, to ensure this, you can cut off my arms and my legs. You're spitting up, you sick fuck.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever done. Just let me live. You could
just let me live.
What?
Yeah, here's how you know. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the most. You lose all your street and sea cred.
Yeah.
Just let me live. Turn me into an amputee.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I don't want to walk.
Yeah.
I don't want to handstand anymore.
So there's a thing.
You can't even jerk your own dick.
Yes,
well,
you can live on as a buoy.
Dude, you got to at least keep one arm to wipe your ass
And swim in a circle.
and eat. You need one. Like you take.
Yeah, I
One
mean,
arm.
you could. Yeah, say take 2 legs and 1 arm.
Mm-hmm. Tell the king 1 arm, 2 legs, and let me know what he says.
Yeah.
And,
Well, or
Dude,
he goes
that's
he
like-
goes
anyways,
quadruple peg.
I'll wait.
He goes quadruple pegs.
Right.
Oh, that's the ultimate pirate.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's an interesting thing, right? And doing my research about it.
Peg legs, peg arms.
Yeah.
Peg bundies.
Peg legs.
Peg friends.
Peg legs, real thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man.
They're shooting cannibals.
Guys who really with parrots.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
real
definitely.
real
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it either comes from Stede Bonnet or he did it because he read about it and it's not true of anybody else
And he made it true.
Yeah.
of walking the plank.
Oh.
Because
It became, but it did at some point become true.
no, only with him. No pirates did. They would just throw you over the rail.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Why
yeah,
would
it
we
was-
create a
there's no-
diving board?
But he read, oh, they make him walk the plank.
That might be true, that he read it and then he made people do it, and also because he was uncomfortable with killing people.
And,
So
and
you'd
the,
make-
what about the pirate? The parrot?
Oh no, that was just a thing where like
that was true.
That was a real thing that would happen.
But walking the plank would, it makes sense.
Who builds a plank? Throw that guy over.
You're fucking sailing around the Caribbean. You and your guys that you're paying on salary, maybe you want to have a diving contest. Hang out, take your clothes off.
You don't need to walk the plank.
It starts out as a diving board, Matt, for leisurely piracy fun. And then
there's no wasted wood on a boat. That turns into a barrel.
Wood is fiberglass.
Shit.
They got off some swimming pool in the valley.
Also, also, when you're this afraid of getting boarded, why are you going to create a bridge to another vessel? Yeah. It makes no sense.
That's probably what it was.
I guess you could
another vessel.
I guess you could use a bridge to another vessel.
So I heard one story
that makes way more sense.
That was Robert E. Lee, maybe doing some amateur historian stuff about this thing, this era.
Robert E. Lee, noted slave owner and
yes,
insurrectionist,
and high school name,
and also these guys would have been more celebrated. Virginia, Carolinas, him being around there, maybe, but he had a thing which is not really corroborated by any other big accounts I know, but something of Blackbeard is to be executed. Blackbeard, I think, dies a month before the execution of Stede Bonnet, and there was something about he had maybe a letter that asked for leniency for Stede Bonnet, and that might have been playing into the idea of the friendship between these two unlikely characters.
Blackbeard would write a letter asking for Stede Bonnet's letter.
Yeah,
before you kill me.
Yeah, like they're gonna fucking listen to him other than this rich dandy.
Yeah.
You know, the fucking firecracker beard. Yeah, so that's but it's something that's out there, so I feel like I should mention it. But yeah, there's a thing there where it seems like everybody was always fucking each other over. And maybe Stede Bonnet was the last to learn the lesson.
Yeah.
But also he fucked over, the governor right away. He
learned.
He learned, and then it was.
He was willing to fuck over his own limbs.
Yeah.
He was gonna fuck over his own crew.
So they didn't give in to his option.
They did not.
No.
And not only that, there is an extremely long lecture by the judge on record.
Well, that does sound like a judge. You like lectures?
Because he's like, yeah, you're like, no, you're gonna hang, but also you gotta listen to me for a long time.
And then by the end of it, you're gonna be like, oh, Jesus, fucking just hang me.
Yeah,
just take all my limbs.
And he went to the gallows. 30 years old. And
shit.
Wait, how long was his run at piracy?
Like 2 years, dude.
Wow.
Also, the Blackbeard run wasn't that long.
Yeah. But you're at, man, it's a long 2 years,
Yeah.
Plus, it's like 10% of your life. It's already so like when you're 29, 3 years is forever.
Yeah.
Not only, but it's like how long was how long was World War II? How many stories? Much smaller, much bigger arena. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Everything is quite epic.
Right.
When it's epic, it's epic. But also, when you're young, time is
yes.
If you're 4 years old and you got to wait an hour-long line, that is so much of your life up until that point.
No, dude, I swear to God, when we were going to Ireland when I was a little kid and we were just like in JFK, I was like,
what the? This is half of my life.
Yeah, I was like, this is. Like the bureaucracy they go through in like Loki and Beetlejuice.
It's in Brazil.
I was like, this is just
not the country, the movie,
like an endless fucking nothing.
It's a Terry Gilliam movie.
Yeah, yeah. You're so fucking bored you can't believe it. But yeah, he's on the way up to the gallows. There's a crowd and they do like him. And they throw him a bouquet of flowers.
Oh my God.
Can he catch it? Because he has no arms.
And he loves it.
He holds it until he's dead.
Well, they let him hold something.
Yeah, he just fucking holds it until like the life goes out of him, and then he drops the flowers, man.
Wow, there you go.
That's
a poetic end.
There's little vibes of the Emperor of the United States to that.
Mm-hmm.
This like, hey, we just like the guy, okay?
Yeah.
We just like him. Let him be our mascot. He's not all there, but
that's kind of a thing too. Is that there was sort of a, is he mentally gone? And did it even start with the death of his child?
Mhm.
This crazy midlife crisis, and
At 28.
Yeah.
but, you know,
Turns out it was an end of life
End
crisis.
of life crisis. That's right.
yeah, and you know, just it is amazing how even then people could take on this affection
Well, I mean, the same.
to a disgraced character. Because don't forget, like back then, there's one paper, and they're saying this guy sucks.
Right.
It's the same thing with, Wild West folks.
No.
There is.
We still love a comeback story. We love somebody who goes against the grain.
And also, there is there's a mythology or some sort of obsession with people who don't
Follow rules.
Yeah, I mean, look at every fucking true crime podcast
Right.
is like, wow, have you heard about the guy who murdered a bunch of people? And they're like, wow, let's talk. So they're.
Yeah, but that stuff bums me out.
We don't like that.
Yes,
person,
but there's a reason that there's such a following for it, because it is separate from the reality of life for most people. It is something else.
Yeah, but there's
it gives them something not necessarily to hope for,
Right.
but it's something to be interested in.
But nobody's throwing Ted Bundy a bouquet of flowers. Like this is
Somebody would have if they were in the.
Well, I mean,
that,
You wouldn't have been able to catch them.
That's not the same thing.
it's not the same
there
thing.
are people. I mean,
Are you saying that people like interesting people? Wow.
but
You
I mean,
heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
There's definitely people that have probably written to him to. I said definitely, and then probably. I imagine
He had a woman.
Yes,
Sure,
Yeah,
but
that's one person. One person throwing flowers is also the same thing.
No. I'm saying he had a crowd that was actually the trial was delayed for a long time. This is not some woman that will
Is marrying the Menendez brothers.
That
in
is
jail.
not the only. It's not just one person, is what I'm saying. There are a lot of people who are interested in these things.
Right,
And
but true crime is different than somebody who is running afoul,
Yes.
a true eccentric.
It's the difference of this show and every
and
other.
every true crime podcast.
I'm not saying.
Are you a
You're
shill
wrong.
for making a murder?
I'm not saying you're wrong, but
He's a Trojan horse.
it's human nature for people to be interested in this.
This guy wants to be on My Favorite Murder
yeah,
podcast.
but this is also a thing too, where like there's a lot of pity going in here.
Is there, or is there just fascination?
It's
admiration. Fascination is different than admiration.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Adulation.
How could you, is there pity?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a little bit of pity.
But why is there pity?
Because they feel like, oh, this guy had everything, and then he rolled the dice on this thing, and it didn't work out, and we kind of feel sorry for him because we know what he was supposed to be and what he could have been, and then he became this kind of like fucking like shitty folk hero because he wasn't that good at the job. But also we're like, oh man, like he's kind of a geek. Like let him go.
No, I mean that makes sense now. But do you think back then everybody had all of that information too? Or was he just kind of an interesting guy who was...
I mean, they did. So
They didn't do it for Blackbeard, who was also kind of an interesting guy.
Well, I mean, where was Blackbeard...
oh, by the way, they also same state, North Carolina, but they had all those guys buried. His crew hanged too, Bonnet, and they all were buried in a swamp.
Oh, that's where the gators get there, right?
And then they come back as some sort of thing.
Yeah,
With the memories of each man.
but yeah, no.
Blackbeard gator.
So a big pirate book, possibly written by Defoe, Robinson Crusoe, under a pseudonym. Like he gave his name like Captain fucking David or something. A big pirate book written 1724, so that's only 6 years after. And you know that was kind of the beginning of what they consider the golden age of pirates. Because there's more to follow in the area and stuff. Calico Jack, people that are introduced in Our Flag Means Your Death.
Calico Jack, of course, and eventually his son Cactus Jack.
And then yeah,
Who lives forever.
Yeah,
Bonnie, the Irish girl. But that was kind of the text that was, it had the shit that was fact. And then it also probably had a lot of, embellishments. because that was a good seller. But that book sold fucking gangbusters, you know?
What was it called?
I don't remember.
Pirate book.
Yeah. And I think it's the PYR.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And it was, you know, kind of a little bit of an encyclopedia. It's
Yeah.
like, here's this guy, here's this guy, here's this guy.
Yeah.
And Stede, Bonnet, and Blackbeard, of course, are in it. And they mix in the stuff from the court records with, you know, probably some stuff that might have been hearsay.
Sure.
Pirate
talk.
But yeah. You know, it was kind of known that he was a bit of a dandy, and it was weird, and he didn't need to do it. So yeah, the public, for whatever reason, had some affection for him, but also they had some affection for Blackbeard too, in a Robin Hood type, or just a get a load of this guy way.
Sure. I mean, they're fascinating characters.
And not only that, but they also were, you know, probably the political leanings would have been talked about, that they were Jacobites or whatever. The same way, probably,
Which are different than Cenobites.
yeah, but probably the same way that if you did like late 1800s writing about the Wild West, they would talk more about the Civil War and those guys being like Confederate expat, you know, whatever the fuck.
New Jesse James or
The
whatever.
the politics of the time would have factored into it, you know.
Yeah.
Sure, of course.
And like,
you know, it makes me think of in Inglourious Bastards. Who is the German who murdered his commander? And they do the big like cartoon thing.
mhm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
In Inglourious Bastards.
Is it Stiglitz?
Yeah, Hugo Stiglitz.
Yeah.
That kind of thing where it's like, oh, your reputation, we like you because you didn't have to, but for some reason, whether it's your morality or your political leanings or whatever it was, you went against the orthodoxy of when and where you came. He stabbed his commanding officers, threw pillows in the face in their sleep.
Right.
And so it's like, yeah, that's why we like that guy.
Yeah.
We like Hugo Stiglitz.
I'd also a thing like of you didn't have to at
Right.
all, and
You could have just kept going.
any of those guys would have traded places with you in a heartbeat.
Mhm.
Right. Well, you know, the gentleman pirate is much like the mobster, not the mobster, the bank robber.
Oh yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
You know, in the same, it's the same. It's like, well, they're doing the
He brought a little
dirty
class
work.
to it.
Yes, exactly.
But then at the end, that guy never became vicious. This guy did.
Right.
And that's even more fascinating because it was like, it seems like it's almost like he was just spurned by, being betrayed by what he thought was his friend.
Right.
And then
And he got a real taste of what it meant. It's kind of like Tupac.
your analogies this episode are, how is it like Tupac?
Well, because Tupac went to art school with Jada Pinkett.
Yeah.
And then he did the whole Thug Life thing, and then he went to jail for some shit, but like not that crazy as shit. And then he comes out and he's like, I am Thug Life.
Yeah.
And then he really bought it, but he really was this beautiful soul poet.
Yes.
And then really bought into the whole thug fucking thing, and then it bit him in the ass.
Sure.
And he died because of it, if you believe that he's dead.
Oh, he's a hologram.
And we love him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's one of those things where the past life has innate influence on the new life, and because it's a different flavor of that new life. So Blackbeard, traditional greatest pirate, in the same way, like you could Biggie, traditional great rapper, maybe greatest rapper, and then Tupac, much like Stede,
crossed worlds.
yes, and gives a different version of that because of his past life.
Although he didn't grow up, didn't have a silver spoon in his mouth or anything like that.
Yeah, and he also came from, the Shakurs and the Black Power movement.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
It's
They're very, very simple, but
it's nuanced.
there is there's something to be said for somebody who chooses to dip their toe in otherworldly waters,
Right.
Yes.
and then it embraces it.
Right. There's not only one
Against
way
all odds.
to pirate.
That's right.
And also, so here's the thing.
Napster, Kazaa, LimeWire.
And like, I mean, really, like, I told Aaron, because Aaron just started watching this show, and I binged it, like, in one night. I was fucking in love with it.
Absolute maniac.
It was the thing where I was like, oh, funny, great cameos, a great comedy cast, and you're laughing, and fucking Richard's asleep, and, you know.
And Richard's asleep.
And then at the end, I was just like, fuck, it's ripping my fucking heart out, you know? And I was like, God, fuck. Like, the whole thing ended. I've been watching it for 5 hours straight.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I just want to go back like 3 episodes and just watch the whole end again. Like, man, it gets so fucking good.
Yeah.
But one of the things they play with in, like I said, their narrative thing, which I haven't seen support for, is that he's like, all right, here I go again on my own, and I'm a pirate now.
Here I go again.
And it's like, it's almost like, for the story, because he's a reader and he has a library on board, but there's no evidence of, like, you know, the journal of Stede Bonnet,
Right.
and even then, like,
More a reader than a writer.
If he was only concerned with, like, legacy, he certainly wouldn't say cut off my arms and legs. You know what I mean? He would go to the gallows like a hero, but like it was like a thing where it was
a sack of potatoes.
He was just kind of like over and over again, like, oh, what the fuck did I do? Like when Blackbeard,
Go suck your cocks.
when Blackbeard's in control, he's like, oh, dude, I fucked up so bad, and I'm so embarrassed in front of the English. I just need to go to Portugal, and then he's like, oh, fuck it, okay, now I'm with Blackbeard. I got some cred. Okay, we'll just go privateer for the British, and then fucking Blackbeard fucks him over, and he's like, everybody thinks I'm a fucking joke. He's like, I'm gonna go fuck shit up harder than anybody else.
You'll see what kind of joke.
And then he does
cut
that.
off my arms and legs.
Then he does that, and he gets caught, and he's like, I'll give you my limbs. Just let me live as a stump. And you're like, oh man, like,
Yeah.
It's just like it's so crazy that you're like, it's very hard to know what's in this guy's head at all.
Yeah.
But it's a fun fucking ride.
Yeah. He's searching for something or nothing or.
And it's so sad too, because like once he picks up the fucking maroon crew and they're like, we're dead.
Yeah.
And the last person you expect to see coming to your rescue is Stede Bonnet, the guy wandering in his pajamas during battles.
Well, I mean, and then he
does, and they're like, you fucking, oh my God.
We're gonna fight.
Let's fucking go. And he's like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah, all right.
we're not, and we're not gonna be like, you know, median pirates. We're going after Blackbeard.
Yeah.
And we're gonna fuck him up.
And they're
Because now we mean business.
Okay, how did you get the boat here? And he's like, I don't know, man. I
woke up.
did.
Yeah, like it's really fucking like, just like, holy shit! Like this guy, he breaks bad really hard.
Yeah.
And
he was also kind of bad at that.
Yeah, he didn't.
well, he
Surrender.
He got stuck on a river.
it was like a tantrum.
It's not a real pirate.
It was like a tantrum
thing.
tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
But also, you could have done a tantrum tour privateering,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
not attacking the wrong vessels.
Yeah.
And instead, he's like, I want my name to ring out more than Blackbeard's.
Yeah.
You want to see a fierce pirate?
Yeah.
I put a gun to my guys' heads when they don't fucking execute fucking... Because they started killing.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, the gentleman pirate was over.
It sounds like he did that with the same lack of understanding that he started
Yeah.
pirating with,
Right.
which is just like go 100%
Yeah.
without thinking about any sort of nuance.
It's got one speed.
No,
Yeah.
it was so okay. And like in fairness,
And the speed is
as much
Yeah, one Stede.
as much of a joke as he's laid out to be by most people that cover the story. I'm listening to a lot of podcasts where they talk about it, and they're like, "Oh, this fucking idiot." When he starts out, the guys on the wages, they get shit. Like they get, and that's probably like he selected good pirates, and he delegated.
Well, if
Fine.
you're paying money, you get to
Fine.
choose the good pirates.
His run with Blackbeard,
Mhm.
they fucking tore it up. His run without Blackbeard when he was on the revenge mission,
Mhm.
they also tore it up. And by that time, he's fierce, killing people, splitting the booty. The wages are over. It's
Yeah.
about like, fuck, let's get like
Yeah.
he actually becomes a fucking pirate.
Yeah.
And then the minute he's caught, he's like, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. It's so fucking
He
insane.
finally got what he always wanted.
And like,
He couldn't.
can you imagine the crown being like, should we cut off his fucking legs?
He's offering up the legs.
People really like him. And then like, the crown is going like, what are we going to mutilate him in the name of the king?
Yeah.
Like,
how's he gonna catch it?
What do you think this is? 5 months ago?
How popular is that going to be though with the people that like this guy?
I mean, he
Right.
can't catch a bouquet with no arms. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he'll never be a bride.
Did you just wink?
And I licked the mic.
Yeah, I mean, I love the story. It's
a great story.
It's like it's so wild and like it made me want to get into all the other characters.
Yeah, that's something that we haven't really touched too
Yes,
much
there
upon. We've
are-
done Shanghai Kelly. We did a lady Chinese pirate whose name is hard to pronounce.
Ching-Chi.
I don't know, man. That was the Legends of the Ten Rings.
Yeah.
See it in IMAX.
Ching-Chi?
Shinshi. And that's about. We haven't done a lot of pirates, and there's so
Right.
many.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a famous New Orleans pirate, real debonair. Yeah, there's a
Pirates
pirates.
French guy probably.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, jack me off.
No, Jacques Mioff. It's French Russian.
I mean, I did look twice at the Irish girl named Bonnie. I was like, hey, who the fuck is she?
Yeah.
Hey,
I was like, I got to get into what was she doing?
work.
And I think because this golden age because that's Edward Teach Blackbeard and Stede Bonnet executed in what did I say 1718 or
Around there.
1717 1718 because he was 30 and he
Yeah.
was born in 1688.
Yeah.
So they're both killed that year, and they say that like that golden age of pirates lasts like 1750.
Yeah.
So there's still like quite a few to come.
Yeah,
that era.
there's some overlap with like the golden age of
Ocean
sailing,
cowboys.
and there's
Yeah, and then just technology changes, politics changes,
Right.
and then
Yeah,
they had more inland states to the United States.
yeah. I mean, God, but what a fucking crazy life, man.
if we go to fucking space, we could do it, man.
I mean, to be fair,
Space
like
pirates?
Yeah.
it's not like living on the land at that time was that much different from being on a boat
I would disagree.
because the technology.
I mean, it all sucked. You're
Yes.
right. It all sucked.
everything sucks.
But land is good.
yes, but it's not like they're like, oh, there's no cell service. There was the difference
sales.
between the two areas. Wasn't as far as it might be.
One is is constantly trying to swallow you alive.
Well, no, but come on, land can do that too.
Yeah.
Name it.
Okay, no, hold on. I would say through the law. There's laws of the land. There's no laws of the sea. So that's a thing. Risk and reward. These guys are willing to take.
Yeah, it's just it is just so inhospitable to human life.
Yes.
And
But when you know how to get around and you know like where to fucking pilfer from and
I mean, what
What's-
about a swamp? A swamp's inhospitable to human life.
well, there is swamp law.
Yeah,
that's right.
You don't break that.
Yeah.
you don't.
It is just people. I guess by that time people had figured out certain things to and they weren't. The ocean is just scary, guys.
You're shitting in a bucket in both places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it all stinks, and everyone's got diseases.
Yeah.
It all sucks. It all sucks.
Yeah. I think it was like kind of the freedom. It was kind of like
And they're also just kind of like they're going from port to port. It's not like being a transatlantic explorer. I guess I'm kind of just thinking of like the months at sea stuff, which really is a nightmare.
But he's going from
They're
the
just
Bahamas.
they're going up the coast.
coast.
They're just they're staying
exactly.
close to land, which is certainly much safer.
they're basically driving around.
right.
And then
open sea, open road.
Yeah.
They're on the frontage road of the East Coast.
Yeah,
exactly.
and then everything they're doing is like not sanctioned because like the laws of the land don't apply. So they're kind of like doing like the dark web.
Yeah.
The ocean is the original dark web.
Yeah.
This is my takeaway from this. I've seen all types of fucked up shit out here, man.
Weapons,
I gotta tell
CP.
you.
CP.
Look at this guy. He's got a chair leg.
Chair legs.
His friend's a bird, and it talks. The devil, you say?
Yeah, I saw him.
It was a good story, John.
Thank you. Thank
Steve.
you. I really like it. Can't recommend the show enough. Can't wait to see where it goes. I like the liberties they're taking with it. And I think it's cool that the writing of it is very much done through the prism of our standards of living in this time.
Oh,
It's very much like, oh, well, that's not a cool thing to do. Like, it's like people would not talk this way back then.
Yeah, it's like you have to share, man.
Yeah, and there's kind of like, there's like fist bumping and stuff going on, and you're like,
Yeah.
that didn't happen.
Yeah,
You know,
it's very funny.
Wait, you like that?
I do.
Yes, it's funny.
I do.
Okay.
Idiot.
Yeah.
Comedy.
That doesn't seem funny to me. I haven't watched it. Okay.
It's a thing, yeah, because you don't expect
What?
it.
What are you making that face for?
It's funny. It's a comedy show about pirates.
I didn't know it was a comedy show.
Oh yeah, it's Taika Waititi.
It's Taika Waititi.
Oh, okay. I didn't
It's
know.
not like Master and Commander.
Exactly. That's what I didn't know it was a comedy
Yes,
show.
it's
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
It's about a gentleman pirate.
That sounds like it could be interesting, Master Commander.
That's the thing is that when you do get into the original story and you think about this guy writing it and you go like, oh, it's so full of fucking absurdity, and also like, you know, it takes all the wind out of even the Blackbeard sails. Where you're like, oh, he's kind of a fucking joke too. Like this whole thing has been blown up
Yeah.
with legend upon legend upon legend.
yeah.
And now the legend is, of course, more important than the truth.
Sure.
But when you get into the real history of the thing, you're like, oh, that was fucking embarrassing for this guy. I mean, the great British commander after the pirate, he runs 2 ships aground in the river.
Yeah. But then he gets him, so, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a thing where you're like, the Battle of Cape fucking Fear is a
dumb.
joke.
Yeah.
Like
The Battle of Cape Fear was a land battle.
Yeah, the land pirate battle.
Yeah.
It was fought afoot.
I'm a land pirate now.
Yeah. Wait till the tide comes in.
We'll see.
Yeah.
It was two army. One army had only peg legs.
But yeah, I was very excited to tell you. I wanted to tell you while I had the wind in my sails about it.
Hey, and may the wind always be at your back.
Thank you. But Aaron,
But also-
you and I are going to return with
Ooh, a good one.
Is that yeah?
Yeah, Teddy K,
Teddy K, a Titan.
the Una Bomber.
I've heard of him.
Well,
Yeah, it's
French guy.
just going on to the the whole comic book villain stuff that we were talking about before. It's
Yes.
just, I mean, I remember growing up watching the news, and then just there's still just so much more about it that I didn't even know. So
Right, and also you get mail. You sent mail.
Yeah.
You're familiar.
And you've
with
got
mailing.
mail.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
I use the postal system.
Yeah.
I do.
it's a good system.
All right,
Things get places.
let's get out of here, fellas.
Yes.
I love you boys.
And I
Me
love
too.
you, boys, too.
Gonna say goodnight. My name is John Fahey.
Good night. I'm Aaron Pita.
Matt Brousseau.
Good night, everybody. We love you.
Good night.
Scarpins Avenue.